In this session, the discussion is on the emerging technologies of renewable energy that are fuel cell as well as hydrogen energy. How the emerging technologies they are beneficial, what are the advantages, what is the working principle, and how many types of the emerging technologies, what are the different classifications and categorizations we will discuss today. So in this session, the basic focus on the emerging technology that is assumed to be fuel cell, how the fuel cell emerged as an emerging technology, how it comes in the initial stages of the development, and by a German scientist, it was discovered so back, and it was published in the paper, in the research, in the journal. And this research and this newly discovery that was carried out, and the energy conversion means and the harnessing of the energy, that has been what addressed by the means of fuel cell. Now the question arises, what basically the fuel cell is? Because if we will discuss on the fuel cell, so it is too mandatory and initial to know the working principle, then to know the introductory, the initial demonstration of the fuel cell, what fuel cell works, for what the fuel cell designed, what is the basic designing procedure of the fuel cell, and for what reason, what is the output of the fuel cell. So here is the flow, that what fuel cell is. A fuel cell, it is an electrochemical device. It means that there are two types of energy involved. How many kinds of energy? Two types of energy. So one is electrical energy and a chemical energy. So that is why it is supposed to be electrochemical device. So a fuel cell is an electrochemical device that directly converts, that directly transforms, harness, converts, change, that directly converts the chemical energy of a fuel, and that fuel is usually hydrogen or maybe. So that chemical energy of a fuel is converted, and an oxidizing agent, that is usually oxygen from air, into electricity and byproduct like water and heat, that is thermal effect without combustion. So if we will go with the flow in a line, then we will say that a fuel cell is an electrochemical device that directly converts the chemical energy of a fuel and an oxidizing agent into electricity, water, and heat. And in the more terminology, in the more definitory view, if we will look after the one more definition, if we will more define the fuel cell, we may also define the definition will also be done through these words, like what is the fuel cell? Like a fuel cell is an electrochemical device in which the chemical energy of a conventional fuel and a traditional fuel, we may say generally say classical fuel, is converted directly and efficiently into low voltage direct current electrical energy. So what kind of electrical energy is coming? What is the nature of the supply which we are finding? The nature of the supply, that is assumes to be like DC or direct current electricity, we are assuming, we are harnessing, and then if AC is desired from that DC, there should be a need of inverter, or simply we may say converter. Or what inverter do? Inverter will convert or transform or change the DC, the nature DC into AC, or the supply DC into AC supply. And that AC then be introduced and injected into the grid for the utilization anywhere into the load. So what basically the fuel cell is? Fuel cell basically is doing electrochemical conversion. The process of electrochemical conversion, because it is a device which is electrochemically ignited or utilized, that is what harnessing the electrical energy via chemical energy. So what is the basic principle? So what is the basic principle and what is the basic working principle of the fuel cell? A fuel cell operates just like a battery. So what is the battery is? It is looking like this, and it does not run down or like need recharging. It is not there is no need to recharge again and again in the fuel cell, because completely there should be a what supply of fuel that is desired, as long as fuel and oxidants are supplied. So a fuel cell just like a battery, there is a what there is a electrode. So what kind of components? There is a anode, electrode. So electrode in terms of anode, cathode, and electrolyte, as we have done in the batteries, we have seen. So anode, cathode, electrolyte, and catalyst. So catalyst is used for the catalysis purpose, to speed up, to boost up the operation. And bipolar plates. So these are some of the components. And what are the more components of this fuel cell? Like anode and cathode and electrolyte, container, separators, sealings, fuel supply, oxidizers. So what is anode? What anode does? So anode, where fuel is oxidized, fuel electrode, it will also say like fuel electrode. So it means anode catalyst coated electrodes where fuel is oxidized. And what cathode does? So cathode where oxygen is reduced. What electrolyte perform? Electrolyte conducts ions between the electrodes. It means between the anode and the cathode there is a flow of the ions through the help of the electrolyte. And what catalyst do? Catalyst, like typically platinum based, speed up the reaction. So speed up the what kind of reaction? Electrochemical reaction, because fuel cell is an electrochemical device. Electrochem active operation is getting to perform. So it means that catalyst, what catalyst do? It is going to speed up. It is going to boost up, energize and speed up the electrochemical process to harness the electrical energy from the chemical means, from the fuel, or from the oxidation process, where in the anode, and reduction process of the oxygen in the cathode, and through the flow of the ions which is performed by the electrolyte. And bipolar plate is also there, like conducts electron between cells and remove water and heat. So what are the basic components and working theory of the fuel? So working theory, as we know, fuel cell is going to what? Fuel cell is going to convert chemical energy into electrical energy. And what are the different components? Clearly the different components are there: anode, cathode, electrolyte, container, separators, sealings, fuel supply, oxidizer, and catalyst, and bipolar plates. So if fuel cell is used for the harnessing of electrical energy, and that is the most emerging technology in the renewable energy, like in the non-conventional energy. So there is a advantage, disadvantage, and applications also of the fuel cell. If we will associate it with if we will have a look and discussion of the advantages, benefits, and disadvantages, there should be some drawbacks also, limitations also, constraints also, and applications. How many areas, up to whatever areas this fuel cell is getting to explore, now we are discussing. So what is the advantage? What basically the advantage is? if we will see the advantage like high efficiency, the efficiency, obviously whatever would be the source of energy, source of harnessing the electrical energy, that should be efficient. Yes, the emerging technology fuel cell is quite efficient in its efficiency. It is highly efficient, high efficiency, or something like 40 to 60%, up to 85%. So this is up to many percent. Whatever the more degree of efficiency that is achieved through the optimization processes, there are different optimization process also to increase the efficiency. Still, the innovations, the research, the new discoveries, tracks that is going to designed in the fuel cell, because it is highly emerging technology. And what is the second advantage? The quiet operation, the simple operation, no moving parts, simply static operation, and low emission. There is no like water and some heat, because if byproduct is coming what, like a H2O, water, and like a thermal effect, thermal byproduct, heat, and like modular scalability. What scalability means? Scalability, it means there may be a change or an extension, or there may be a rating variance. Rating means like in megawatt, like in something. So whatever watt, so from few watts to megawatts, there may be scaling, there may be variation, they may be vary. So it is called scalability. Scaling means to increase or decrease the rating. So modular scalability is also an advantage in the fuel cell. And fuel flexibility. What fuel flexibility means? Like H2, like natural gas, methanol, biogas. So these are some of the advantages. And conversion efficiency is high. We may also say like conversion efficiency is high. It means that most of the chemical energy that is going to completely or up to the absolute terms, that is going to convert into what? Electrical energy. And less maintenance needed, and can be installed near the utilizing point to accompany the least transmission losses. And it means that is fuel cell maybe what, maybe easily installed anywhere, like nearby the load centers. And fuel cell is odorless and does not make any noise, and a little time is needed to go into the operation. It means that in the least iteration, in the least sum of the time span, that electrical energy that can be harnessed through the fuel cell conversion, simple and safe, pollution free, environment friendly. And what? Space requirement, that is called geographical citation. Space requirement is somehow assumes to be less as compared to what? Conventional power plants. Conventional power plants, there is less space needed in the fuel cell, and no cooling water needed. There is no need of the cooling water in the fuel cell, and capacity can be increased as a demand grows. As what kind of demand? Load demand, obviously. So whatever, either maybe the variety of the demand or the variance in the load demand is there. So capacity may be increased. What capacity symbolize? Capacity here symbolize the more production of the power through the fuel cell technology. So this is advantageous in terms of capacity increment, capacity enhancement as the demand grows, and long life. The long life, it means that the sustainability of the fuel cell assumes to be more. And now what is the disadvantage? There are also some limitations which are assumed to be the disadvantage. Yes, especially this is the most, what? High cost. It means that high cost is there. What kind of high cost? Because there are many different components in the fuel cell, like electrodes, anode, cathode. One is for reduction, one is for oxidation, and as we know that anode is for the oxidation. It is very quite obvious here, very clear, that oxidation is always done in terms of anode, and cathode reduction is there, and both contributes for the overall reaction, where anode and cathode both operation. It means the operation of the oxidation and reduction, redox redox like condition is getting to there, and DC electricity is getting to produce, and by the inverter this DC is converted into AC characteristics and AC nature, and that has to be induced in the grid. And what is the limitation we were discussing? High cost. The cost is high, especially of the catalyst. Whatever the platinum catalyst we are using, or the catalyst which is going to speed up and boost the operation of the fuel cell, that catalyst is high cost. Catalyst is having especially of the high cost. If this limitation, this cost limitation is supposed to be high, then now look at the research point here. So what is the innovation and research point here? Now there is an objective of the research. Any paper, any idea we are just clicking on the mind. So there should be what is the objective function, the problem formulation here. So at least while doing the research, while doing the discussion, while doing the new discovery and theory and tracks, while maintaining the new tracks and designing the new discoveries, inventing or patenting something of the emerging technology fuel cell regarding the high cost, then there should be, we can reduce the cost of what? Catalyst. How we reduce? By using some optimization techniques, by using some optimization algorithms, solvers and softwares, via any more methods, via any more design parallel to this catalyst. So high cost, that may be constrained, that may be limit, that may be reduced to cost reduction. So this is the limitation, that high cost in terms of catalyst. It means catalyst is more costly. What is the second limitation? Hydrogen storage and transport challenge. So if the limitation is there regarding anything, so that may be the research gap while performing some new research. Definitely, in any of the research paper, in any of the research article, manuscript, whatever the article is of type review type, experimental type, or like a book chapter, whatsoever it may be. So whatever would be the limitation, that limitations, however, or near about supposed to be the new research objectives, using some more methods, and this is the only work. So what is the limitation here of fuel cell? First one is high cost in terms of catalyst. Second is hydrogen storage and transport challenges. So that cannot be, it means that fuel cannot be transport. So that is why that cannot be stored. So that is why this is also a limitation. Third is sensitivity to fuel impurities. Sensitivity, there is a variance. Sensitivity regarding the fuel impurities, and like carbon monoxide poisoning, like something. So sensitivity, or it means that the fuel impurity or fuel doping sensitivity, this is also a limitation. And fourth one is durability and thermal management issues. So durability is also there, and thermal management, it means that heat production management issues are also supposed to be what? Limitation and disadvantages. And low service life is also there, and problems for refilling in vehicles. So these are some of the limitations. So what are the applications? For domestic use, fuel cell can be used. Automotive vehicles, fuel cell can be used. Central power stations, defense applications also fuel cell used. Space projects. So fuel cells are primarily suited for low voltage and high current applications. And transportation purposes, like fuel cell electric vehicles, FCEV it is called. EV means electric vehicles. In the coming session, in the coming discussion, we will discuss on the electric vehicle. So fuel cell electric vehicle it is called. It means electric vehicle which is governed by the fuel cell, the newly emerging technology electric vehicle, that is supposed to be fuel cell electric vehicle, FEEV. So like in the transportation, because electric vehicle, what it does, it works the transportation, and it carries something here to there. So it means that fuel cell electric vehicle can be performed, can be run by what? Can be performed and actioned by what? Transportation. It can be actioned by the application part of the fuel cell. And like buses, in buses also the fuel cell is getting to use, and in trains also. Stationary power. What is stationary power? Like backup and distributed power generation. And distributed power generation like DG also. It means distributed generation in the distributed end. That may be also the generation in the distribution is also done by the power plant, fuel cell power plant. The power plant which is what? In which the fuel cell is there and terminated to be as fuel cell power plants. So backup, what backup is? Backup is supposed to be the reserve spin. Reserve spin means the power needed. Whatever power is back. It means that how many power is saved, how many energy is saved wherever needed in terms of contingency conditions. For example, how the backup power is produced? Backup power is there either by producing the power by fuel cell and then filling the batteries and then filling the long scaled and more rated batteries and charge them, and then wherever needed then discharge, then take the supply. So this kind of backup and many more backup, like it is called reserve spin. So backup power is also done via this fuel cell. Portable device like laptops and military use, that is also for some military use portable device like laptops and all. These are the applications, and space applications like power and water in what? Spacecrafts. So to provide power and lifting the water via what electricity wherever needed, okay, wherever to give the thermalness to because after the electricity generation, after the power or energy induction, utilize that energy in any terms. So application is in terms of transportation, stationary power and portable devices, space applications. So we have seen what fuel cell is. Fuel cell works on the electrochemical principle, electrochemical theory. And electrochemical, it means that the electrochemical device means converting chemical energy into electrical energy. And it doesn't need to recharge again and again. And advantages, disadvantages and applications of the fuel cells as we have discussed. The components as we have discussed, the anode like cathode, electrolyte, container, separator, sealings, fuel cell and oxidizer. So here oxidizer diffuses through the cathode and reduced by the electrons that have come from the anode by the way of the external circuit. So what is one word coming here like diffusion. So there, what is diffusion? Diffusion and drift. There are two words like diffusion and drift. So one word is diffusion, one word is drift. So what is diffusion and what is drift? So like when we will discuss diffusion means the natural flow of the electrons of charges from here to there. And the second word what we have discussed, drift means when the electron will flow from one place to another after applying some force. It means that external or whatever internal force is needed, means there is a need of energy to flow the electrons, to flow the charge, to move the charge from one place, one location to another location. That is supposed to be drift. It means that drift is a forceful movement of, or the agitating movement of, or the igniting movement of electrons from one citation to another citation. Whereas diffusion is supposed to be the natural flow of the electrons or the charges. It doesn't need any external agency to flow. So it means that if we will discuss also the classification of the fuel cell. So we will classify the fuel cell based on the type of electrolyte, like alkaline fuel cell, phosphoric acid fuel cell. Alkaline fuel cell means AFC, alkaline fuel cell. So phosphoric acid fuel cell means PAFC. So polymer electrolytic membrane fuel cell, it is PEMFC. The molten carbonate fuel cell, what is molten? MCFC. So solid oxide fuel cell, SOFC. So these are the classification of fuel cell in terms of electrolyte. And in terms of operating temperature, what is the classification of fuel cell? Low temperature fuel cell. So what is the rating? What the rating is of 25 to 100 degrees Celsius or nearby. And medium temperature fuel cells. What medium? Medium is also called moderate. So moderate temperature fuel cell. So below 100 to 500 degrees Celsius. So high temperature fuel cells. What is the high temperature fuel cells? In between 500 to 1000 degrees Celsius. And in continuation of the classification of fuel cell in terms of operating temperature, the next classification is supposed to be very high temperature fuel cells. Initially it was low temperature, then moderate or medium temperature, then high temperature, and extra high or very high, ultra high temperature fuel cell, that is above 1100 degrees Celsius. So that is assumed to be like this, the rating of the temperature variance in according to the intensity of the temperature of the fuel cell. So third one is what? The parameter of the classification is based on the type of fuel and oxidation. Fuel and oxidation is also a parameter on which the classification is performed. So what is first is hydrogen oxygen fuel cell, then second is hydrogen air fuel cell, and then hydrazine oxygen fuel cell. So hydrogen oxygen fuel cell, because here we are using fuel and oxidant as a point of classification of the fuel cell. So here we are using hydrogen as a what? Fuel, and like here oxygen fuel cell. Oxidant, oxygen as an oxidant. Then next is hydrogen air fuel cell. Then next is hydrazine oxygen fuel cell. Then next is ammonia air fuel cell. Then next is synthesis gas or air fuel cell. So synthesis gas. Synthesis is what? Supposed to be the fuel, and air is supposed to be the oxidant of the fuel cell. Hydrocarbon or gas. Hydrocarbon means hydrogen and carbon. So hydrocarbon or consisting of carbon. So hydrocarbon or its isotope or whatsoever. It's some more structure, some more form in which there is a combination of hydro and carbon. Hydrocarbon in terms of gaseous state, and air fuel cell. And then hydrocarbon liquid state or air fuel cell. So these are the fuel cells in terms of fuel and what? Oxidant. Now, so types of fuel cell used in fuel cells. So what are the types of fuels? What are the types of, because as we have discussed the classification of the what? A classification of the fuel cell. Classifications of the fuel cell in terms of what? Either electrolyte, either temperature, operating temperature, or working temperature we may say, and fuel and oxidants. And now what we will discuss on the types of fuels used in the fuel cell. So what are the types of the fuels? How many types of what are the categories of the different fuels which are going to use in the fuel cell? The following fuels, they are mostly used in fuel cells. What are those fuels? First is hydrogen, that is H2. And hydrocarbon fuels. Second is hydrocarbon fuels. Fossil fuels. Fossil fuels are also there, which are used as a working fuel in the fuel cell, emerging technology fuel cell. And next, fourth one is alcohol fuel. Alcohol fuel is also the fuel which is going to inject as a fuel in the fuel cell. And next, hydrazine. Hydrazine formula, its formula is what? N2H4. N2 and 2 is written in the subscript. So anywhere which is written in the foot and near and down below any symbol, that is called to be as the subscript. And if there is something written in the par degree, that is supposed to be superscript. Here the thing written in the subscript, that is supposed to be N2, H4. So N2H4 is called hydrazine. So it is somehow collectively talked to be as hydrazine fuel. So there are few fuels like hydrogen H2 and hydrocarbon fuels, fossil fuels, alcohol fuels, and hydrazine, that is N2H4 fuels. These are some of the fuels which are utilized as a working fuel in fuel cells. So now next is what? So next is requirements of electrolyte and electrode. So what is the requirement of electrolyte and electrode in fuel cells? Why we are using electrolyte? Why we are using electrode? Because why we are using electrolyte? As we have seen in the battery, the liquid portion, which is assumed to be like liquid, flowing liquid like water and something, it is not supposed to be water, but it is looking like water, liquid. So what? It should be conductive to ions. So it means that ion conduction is possible. It means ionization is possible. The process of ionization should occur in the electrolyte. That is the best electrolyte or desired characteristics of electrolyte which is needed in the fuel cell. So what is the requirement? What is the requirement and desirability by the electrolyte in the fuel cell? So next is it should be electrically non-conductive. And third one is what? Ions should be free to move through the electrolyte, because whenever the ion will flow, whenever the ions will flow, positive and negative ions or whatsoever, whenever there will be a free moment, a free lancing moment of the ions through the electrolyte, because electrolyte is only the medium of the exchange of the ions and the contact and the between the cathode and anode for the what? For the flow of the electrical activity and for the flow of the chemical activity to harness electrical activity and to feed the load. So ions should be free to move, freely chargeable, freely momentous through the electrolyte, and the composition of electrolyte should not get changed during operation. The composition by whatever the constituents, by whatever the constitution of the composition of the by what the electrolyte is made, that composition should not be changed whenever some process is getting on. So these are some of the requirements of the electrolyte. So what are the requirements and what are the needs from the electrode? What electrode is needed for? Electrode, it should be electrically conductive. It should be electrically conductive because for the electrical conduction, for the ignition process, for the flow of the ions up to the complete chemical process, and that process up to the harnessing of electrical energy, three very important parts: electrode, which is anode and cathode, and electrolyte is very important in the electrochemical process. So electrode is what? It should be electrically conductive and it should not react with electrolyte. It should not react with electrolyte to prevent corrosion. And it should be able to withstand high temperature. So here one word is there, corrosion. What corrosion means? Corrosion is there and rusting is also there. Rusting, clearly opined here that rusting is a form of corrosion. Rusting is a subcategory of corrosion. Corrosion is also a bigger concept, a complete concept. Like corrosion means degradation of any substance or material in its surface. It may be by pinpoint, by penetrating its surface, or by depleting the surface, or by deposition of any material in the surface, because rusting is only defined by the deposition of material. So rusting is a type of corrosion. Corrosion is more bigger than rusting concept. Rusting is corrosion, but not necessarily all corrosion is supposed to be rusting. So to prevent the rusting, it is one of the electrode requirements. It should be able to withstand high temperature. Yes, electrode should withstand high temperature, because during this electrochemical process the temperature will rise, there would be a good thermal stress. Then the electrode is assumed to withstand with those thermalness. And what is the more requirement from the electrode? It should also act as a catalyst to convert hydrogen, or simply say fuel, and oxygen or simply say oxidation, molecules into their ions. These are some of the basic requirements and need and what expectations from electrolyte as well as electrode during the process of electrochemical conversion, transformation, electrochemical achievement in terms of electrical energy. So what is the desirable characteristics of a fuel cell? So here also the desirable characteristics of a fuel cell. Up to this point, some of the things will concluded of the fuel cell. So what is the desirable character? Why the fuel cell is designed for? This is assumed in this point, that the desirable characteristics of a fuel cell. Why we have designed the fuel cell by giving money, by giving what? Monetary terms. Why we are designing it? What is the need to design fuel cell? Definitely to extract electrical energy. If electrical energy will be harnessed through electrochemical conversion or electrochemical process by introducing by diving into the electrochemical process, then what is the desirable characteristics of the fuel cell? So the fuel cell should have the following characteristics. First is, it should have high energy conversion efficiency. So high conversion efficiency is there. So this is also efficiency is maybe also an objective, research objective or problem formulation for the new research. Definitely, this is also. So it should have high energy conversion efficiency. It means that mostly all over the chemical energy that is converted into electrical energy by the fuel cell. It means what it concludes, there should be a minimum of power loss. There should be a minimum of energy loss during the conversion, or we may simply say during the switching operation from chemical energy to electrical energy. So it should have a high energy conversion efficiency. What is the second? What is the next desirable characteristics from the fuel cell? It should produce low chemical pollution. Definitely, low chemical pollution is there. Only needed is fuel, and no more things is needed, and some components what we have discussed, and it will produce low chemical like pollution. Because it is also fuel cell or fuel energy is supposed to be what? Fuel cell is supposed to be the what? Fuel cell is supposed to be the what? Environment friendly energy. So what is desirable characteristics of fuel cell? It should be flexible to choose any fuel cell. So it should be what? Flexible to choose any fuel, whatever fuel we may use. As we have discussed that how many type of fuel: hydrogen, hydrocarbon fuel, fossil fuel, alcohol fuel, hydrazine, N2, So whatever fuel we are using, or many more fuels which we are choosing, which we are selecting for the conversion into the electrical energy and to operate the electrochemical cycle, electrochemical changes. So it should be flexible to choose any fuel. This is also a requirement from the characteristics, desirable needed characteristics from fuel cell. What next? It should have cogeneration capability and rapid load response. One point is here, very, very important point, and is of the utmost importance from now, from this emerging technology of the renewable energy, in the non-conventional energy and modern alternative energies, pollution-free energy, and mostly what advantageous energies and adopting energies, and in the near future, in currently and also in the near future, because of the what? For the sustainability of the energy, to make the sustainability of the energy. So it should have cogeneration capacity. What cogeneration means? For example, some geographical citation is used, and in that geographical citation and electrical energy is produced by some method, by some energy, and then also in the same geographical citation, by extending some, or in the same process, here one more generation is there also of the energy or power. That is called cogeneration. It means that साथ generation, cogeneration. So it means that generation which is cooperated and originated, integrated and induced, produced and generated in a okay, together. So that is called what? Cogeneration. Cogeneration. So it means that it should have cogeneration capability. And second, it means that cogeneration also symbolize that one power is flowing through the radial distribution system, as we have that topology of different distribution. Let us suppose radial distribution, ring distribution, networked and mesh distribution. So one conventional power is coming from the grid, that is by the feeding of the what base load. So one more method is also introduced as a DG and distributed generation in the distribution side. So that is supposed to be cogeneration, because one generation is coming from the grid, conventional grid, traditional grid, and more alternate method is used to penetrate more power in the distribution end. So that is why it is called distributed generation, that may be produced by means of fuel cell. That is why the cogeneration is called like this. So cogeneration capability may be increased, because cogeneration also needed to feed the load near the load center to reduce the power loss, to reduce the energy loss, because the transportation loss, the transmission loss will be less, because if load center is fed by the energy induced near the load, so loss will be less, energy would not be what transported or transmissioned. Then cogeneration capability will increase. It means the load feeding is getting to increase, the more load is getting to increase, however subjected to the caring of the complete structure power system, complete power grid system. So rapid load response. Now what is this load response? Load response is also called demand response. It is also called DR, demand response, LR. So demand response. What demand response? Demand response means if the demand, if the power consumers, if the power clients, if power consuming utilization points, if they are giving stress, if they are calling utilities to supply more power, more energy, so they are called to be what? Load response. They are called to be the load expectation and supply. So whenever the load is getting to increase, whenever the need of the power and energy is getting to increase, definitely there is a need to address that increasing supply, because the response of the load and the what power consuming what power consumer is getting to increase, and it needs to be addressed immediately by the reliable and qualitative supply and power. So for that sake, this cogeneration is also important, and in this cogeneration, as a DG, distributed generation, or whatsoever active distribution system, needed distribution system, optimized distribution system, this fuel cell is needed. Fuel cell is very helpful. So these are emerging technologies. So desirable characteristics is what? Cogeneration capability. Likewise, the immediate, rapid, needed what? Load response, or we may call it demand response. So the concept of like peak shaving is also here coming now. Peak shaving is what? As we have discussed also in the previous session, in the previous discussion, that was peak shaving. Peak shaving means, let us suppose there is a point in the early morning or in the daytime or in the evening time immediately where everybody needs power and energy. So there is a complete stress on the complete power structure, because everybody is going to absorb, everybody is going to what? Everybody is going to feed it by the power to themselves or itself. So what it needs? It needs to immediately somehow shift the power demand to some more time spent. How this could be possible? This could be possible by the utilities, by the power distribution what decision makers, that the energy and power distributed, that should be given some rebate in the billings by the economies, by what? By giving some rebates, and by subjecting some tariffs. Tariffs means what? By giving some what? By giving some opportunities, and by giving some opportunities, that there should be what? There should be rebate and redemptions. There should be some rebate from the what? Billing areas per unit power, per unit energy. So let us suppose that period may be of off time period. Let us suppose in the late evening, from 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock to near morning, when every load is supposed to turn off, then this kind of shifting of the power load, that is called power load shifting, energy load shifting, or demand response shifting. So that is called peak shaving, peak shaving, PEAK and SHAVING shaving it is called. Because what we are using, we are saving the power demand, we are shifting the power demand, energy demand, electricity demand to incorporate, to give help, or to benefitize, to give advantage to the system stress, power grid stress, power system stress, so that the generation, the hampering in the alternators or the generators, or the thermal stress in the transmission lines, and the distribution utilities that are supposed to be somehow relaxed by this stress, so that the continuous flow of the feeding of the energy and power is supposed to occur. So this is power shifting, and this is power shifting or peak shaving is a parameter, or that is an instrument, power optimizing instrument to completely relax the power system network, the power grid network. So this is the desirable characteristics of a fuel cell. As we have discussed, we have discussed the fuel cell, its introductory portion, and advantage, disadvantage, application of the fuel cell, and components of the fuel cell: anode, cathode, like electrolyte containers, separators, sealings, fuel cell oxidizers. And as we have come across the electrochemical process, that how the chemical energy that is to be converted into electrical energy via fuel cell. When fuel is used, the process of oxidation and reduction is supposed to occur. So what is the advantage and disadvantage, and what are the classifying parameters of the fuel cell, like electrolyte? Based on the type of electrolyte, classification would be there based on the operating temperature, based on the fuel and oxidants, how the classifications, categorization of the fuel cell would occur, and what are the types of the fuel cell that may be operated, that may be used in the fuel cells, like hydrogen, hydrocarbon fuel, fossil fuels, alcohol fuels, and hydrogen, and 2 and 4. And what are the requirements, what is the desirability needed from the electrolyte and electrodes, and what should be the characteristics of a fuel cell by which the fuel cell is designed to have some economic operation, to gain the desired and the optimization in the economic operation of the power. Because this will, the power or the energy supplied is supposed to be the reliable and stress free, and supposed to be the efficient and reliable energy, reliable power, when it will meets the desirable characteristics also, and when it meets the economic operation of the power and energy also. So these are some of the things about the fuel cell. In the next coming session, what we will discuss in the next coming operation, in the next coming discussion and the talks, we will discuss one by one the different kinds of fuel cells and its details and its different characteristics, and what would be and its mathematical modelings we will also discuss, and how we will tune those mathematical formulations and modelings, and what are the voltage current characteristics, and what are the different characteristics regarding this. And if we will see the fuel cell power plants, so what are the different fuel cell power plants, what are the different elements we will discuss also. And we will discuss also the photovoltaic like power plants, and in this category also we will discuss the fuel cell optimization techniques, and different new things and different innovative ideas we may introduce in fuel cell for the best designing and convergence fitness. So this is all for the session today.